Hello, I'm Isaac Hill from Plant Cunning, and I'm going to show you some of my favorite native perennial vegetables. The first one we have here is Rudbeckia laciniata, which is called cut-leafed coneflower, or green-headed coneflower, or Sochan by the Cherokee. And this is native to most of the U.S., east of the Rockies at least, and it's very, very easy to grow. And it's a very delicious green in the spring. It's perennial, it comes back every year, and you can harvest it pretty much as soon as the snow starts melting. I eat it with nettles a lot in the spring. It gets rather tall and will have sprays of yellow daisy-like flowers in the summer. It's gearing up to do that soon, maybe another 3 weeks or so till this starts blooming. And the pollinators love it. So it's a multifunctional plant. It's a perennial vegetable. It's an insectivorous plant, and it's super easy to grow. In fact, it's maybe too easy to grow if given enough water and fertility. I have it here where all the water from the roof is coming off and hitting it. So it's getting lots of water up here with our elderberries. You can see over here. Those elderberries also like a lot of fertility and water. And of course I also gives them some special urea, as it were. I'm in my beautiful common milkweed patch, which is another one of my favorite native perennial vegetables. This is one that you can eat at 3 stages. You can eat it as a shoot just coming out in the spring, as this little broccoli type vegetable with the emerging flower buds, and then also as an okra type vegetable with the small seed pods. My favorite is the broccoli type vegetable, and I usually eat this until the monarchs first start arriving in my area. It is a host plant for the monarch butterfly, but I don't mind eating a little bit because I have plenty of it growing, and it's a very tasty vegetable, and just a little bit of these broccoli-like vegetables are not going to harm the plant very much. It's actually very easy to grow if given the right conditions. And it has a beautiful, beautiful scent. You can't smell it through the camera, but I can smell it, and it's great. Now, there is one thing you should know about milkweed, is that it does have some cardiac glycosides. So what I do is I pour boiling water over it, over the vegetable matter, and then I kind of quickly fry it in some olive oil or butter, and that gets rid of any cardiac glycosides. So you don't want to eat it raw, but you also don't want to eat it overly cooked either. It gets kind of mushy. So it's kind of that in-between space where it's nice and bright green. That's my favorite. And it's a really quite delicious vegetable. Also, if you're growing this and having a little bit for yourself, you're creating habitat and food for the monarchs as well. So do your part. Grow some milkweed and let it feed you too. This is another one of my favorite native perennial vegetables. This is Glade mallow, or Napea dioica. It's called dioica because it has male and female flowers on different plants, so it's dioecious. So you need both a male and a female to have viable seeds. So this is kind of rare. It's not actually native to New York where I live, but it's native to the Midwest. And it is actually very easy to grow. I got roots from Samuel Thayer, the renowned forager, and it grew to these large plants rather quickly. The part that I like to eat is this little flower bud, which is kind of like a broccoli. And because it's a mallow, it's very mucilaginous, kind of slimy, but I like that. And it's a very, very good vegetable. It's also very pretty, especially with the Filipendula rubra behind. So I recommend growing this. You can get this from some nurseries, including Prairie Moon and some other places. And, you know, why not plant it? Why not grow it? And it's very tasty too. A lot of people hate this plant, but I love it. It's one of my favorite native perennial vegetables. This is poke salad, or poke root, or just poke, or Phytolacca americana if you like Latin. So this is a native perennial vegetable. It's also poisonous, and it is a medicinal plant as well. and a dye plant. So it's really got a lot of uses. It's one of the first plants that I learned how to forage. And to eat it, you have to process it correctly. You want to take the early growth. It's actually already a little too old, but you could take this little bit here, and you boil it in 2 changes of water. Then you fry it up in some butter or olive oil or pork fat, and it's one of the most delightful greens you could possibly eat, in my opinion. Now, people don't like it because it can kind of be a little weedy and it's a little strange looking, but I'm a strange kind of guy, so I appreciate that about this poke salad. There's also a song written about it too called Poke Salad Annie. Gator gotcha, Granny. So, look that up. Poke root. This is another one of my favorite native perennial vegetables. This is groundnut, or hopness, or Apios americana. This is a perennial vine in the pea family, and so it fixes nitrogen, which is great in your food forest. And it has very nutritious, protein-rich tubers you dig up in the fall, which can be a staple crop. It's a really wonderful plant, and it has beautiful pinkish, flesh-colored flowers in the summer. And then if you have the right chromosomes, it will produce beans in the fall. Now, I say that because a lot of the northern specimens of this plant, if you go out in the wild in Pennsylvania, New York, and you find this, they'll most likely be a triploid chromosome. And those are not fertile. They won't produce seeds. They won't produce beans. And those are probably cloned, produced via tubers that were traded around, because this is how you grow this from tubers or from seed. But it's easier to grow from tubers. So those were most likely planted by the Native Americans in that area. So if you're finding this in the wild up north, you're most likely finding the remnants of a native garden. This is Apios americana. Beautiful vine.